Hi, it's Lucky Robin. I got tagged by Greenwise Joe. It's a garden tag. But this meme was originally from the UK, so a few of the questions I'm going to have to alter a bit. First question is, how long have you had your allotment garden? We don't have allotment gardens here. Well, we do, I guess. They're just called community gardens, and you can go and rent a plot for a year for a fee and some volunteer work in maintaining the rest of the garden. And we have about 5 or 6 of those in my city and several in the county as well. But I've never used one because I've always had a yard to plant in. The second question is, how long did you have to wait for your allotment? Well, like I said, I don't use that, so that's not applicable to me. Where did you learn about gardening? Back at seed packets to start with. I just read what they said, put the seeds in the ground, and they grew. When I was older, I started getting books out of the library. I learned most of my gardening skills, composting, lasagna gardening, square foot gardening, that kind of thing, out of books, and organic gardening too. I didn't really have a mentor, even though my grandparents gardened and one of my aunts gardened. They were on the other side of the mountains, so we only saw them a couple times a year. But I did spend 2 to 3 weeks a summer at my aunt's, and I did get to observe a little bit, but she didn't really teach me anything other than that vegetables fresh out of the ground were really, really good. Do you do winter gardening? I am this year, a little. I mean, I usually plant a fall crop, but I don't usually plant a winter crop. This year I am just trying to overwinter broccoli, chard lettuce, and kale with a little help from greenhouses. So other than that, I do keep herbs on the kitchen windowsill. And I grow them over the winter as much as I can. Right now I have basil, thyme, parsley, sage, rosemary, and oregano. What's your biggest success? Well, I think this garden year has been my biggest success. I've had good years in the past, but this one has just really been off the charts good with the biointensive method, and I would consider my tomato crop this year to be my biggest success. What is your biggest gardening disaster? I don't really think I've had one. I mean, I've had some bad years, but it wasn't like nothing ever grew. It was like I'd have blighted tomatoes or something like that. In 2014, the straw bale and hay bale gardening experiment was really half and half, I think. The green beans did well, the zucchini did well, sorrel did really well, but the tomatoes didn't like it, even though they were supposed to, and the cucumbers didn't like it at all, and the kohlrabi didn't like it. The broccoli did really well, but the cauliflower didn't. I'm not sure I can blame my cauliflower on that gardening method though, because I always kill cauliflower. I don't know why, but I have maybe grown 3 cauliflowers in my life that did not die. So, and I can grow broccoli very easily. I don't know what it is. The cauliflower dies. Do you have a tried and true crop? Potatoes. It is really, really hard to screw up potatoes here because we tend to have the right amount of rainfall and the right amount of dryness through the summer that it doesn't, the potatoes don't rot or fail to thrive. We did have a smaller harvest this year because it was much drier than usual, but they did well enough. I mean, we did have more. We're still eating some of those. It wasn't enough to can, but it was enough to have still be eating them fresh now. Are you planting something new next year? Yeah, I want to try, I believe it's the Minnesota midget cantaloupes. Jerry at Pine Meadow Hobby Farm grew them, and his climate is similar to mine, so I'm hoping that that will be successful. I don't think I'm going to try to grow watermelon again, but cantaloupe, if I can grow that, I would be very happy. How do you preserve your crops? Boy, I say a lot, don't I? Sorry. Canning is the #1 way I preserve them. And then after that is freezing, and then after that is dehydrating. I'm still learning on the dehydrator. I've only had a good dehydrator since I think May or June, and before that I only had a jerky dehydrator, and that thing did not, I mean, I used it about 8 times and then the engine motor died. So yeah, I would never get a Jerky Express from Nesco ever again. But the Excalibur has been really, really nice to have, and as I learn to do more things in it, I think I'll use it more. Mostly I use it for jerky and drying herbs. And yeah, I think those are the only 3 methods there are of storing garden, or preserving garden crops. And then, what is your favorite meal? I'm assuming this means that I grew. So I would say, well, home-raised chicken, Yukon Gold potatoes mashed with gravy, and roasted broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, and yellow summer squash, and then fresh Italian plums. So that is the garden take, and I'm supposed to tag 3 people, so I'm going to tag 3 people, but if you don't want to do it, don't consider that you have to. Just do it if you want. So I am tagging Zion Acre, Eric Wyatt at the Little White House, and Life and Farmland. So no pressure if you guys don't want to do it. I don't care. But I thought it was interesting.